this evening. First, chaos in the city. Hundreds rushed to Mohammed's enterprise, hoping for a massive cash giveaway, only to find out it was all a hoax. Who's behind the misinformation? Plus, cash grants update. The government is finalizing the next round of payouts. When will you receive yours? Also, land controversy. Vice President Barjaglio takes aim at Nigel Hughes, exposing what he calls a land grab scandal. Hughes fires back. Who's telling the truth? And Mocha residents loses their legal battle. The High Court ruled that they were trespassing and must now pay damages. What this means for their future. Finally, tragedy in Brazil. A small plane crashes into a busy road, killing 2 and injuring several others. Stay tuned. These stories and more are coming up next on Headline News Updates. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for February 7, 2025. I'm Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, the government will release the distribution schedules for the $100,000 one-off cash grant in regions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10 within a week. This is according to Finance Secretary Sokrish Lal Prasha. The Ministry of Finance is finalizing the schedules while completing the verification process for registered individuals. Over 240,000 people have been verified within the past month out of 271,000 registrations since the beginning of the year. Last year, approximately 390,000 persons were registered and verified, with distributions in regions 1, 7, 8, and 9 primarily completed. General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Dr. Barjaglio, assured that all eligible Guyanese will receive the grant and emphasized the government's commitment to an efficient distribution process. Now that the $1.138 trillion national budget has been passed, the necessary funds are available to proceed. The Committee of Supply recently approved over $40 billion for that initiative, with $30 billion allocated for an additional 300,000 citizens aged 18 and older. So far, about 121,000 Guyanese have already received their cash grants. We now turn to a dramatic story that unfolded outside Mohammed's enterprise on Lombard Street this morning. Hundreds of people, including senior citizens and individuals with disabilities, gathered in hopes of receiving $100,000 each, only to find out that this was all based on misinformation. For more on this developing story, we go to our reporter Malcolm Carter, who has been following the situation.
A misleading social media post from Guyana Daily News led to chaos outside Mohammed's enterprise on Lombard Street early this morning, as hundreds of hopeful citizens gathered believing businessman Azzuddin Mohammed was distributing $100,000 to 1,000 people. The claim, which was swiftly debunked by the Mohammed Group, was condemned as misinformation aimed at manipulating the public. In a statement, the group criticized the false report, emphasizing the need for responsible journalism. The fake advertisement brought out many, including senior citizens and persons with disability, to collect the payout. This incident follows past accusations against the Guyana Daily News, including claims that its reporting incited a riot on the east coast of Demerara in 2022, which had to be addressed by President Dr. Mohamed Infran Ali.
Do not be misled by any social media posting or any information that is not verified. For example, what triggered this is a news item that the police who are implicated in this were released. That very news agency I've seen now has apologized for that misleading release. They have apologized for putting the wrong information out there, as this is far from the truth.
Amid the controversy, Guyana Daily News responded by accusing Team Mohammed of attempting to discredit the agency. GDN revealed that on February 6, 2025, an individual claiming to be Mark Richmond, head of security for Azzuddin Mohammed, paid to place an advertisement on its platform. The agency questioned why Team Mohammed would issue disclaimers against them just a day later. GDN dismissed the accusations, stating it remains committed to fearless reporting and will continue accepting advertisements from anyone with the Government of Guyana issued identification. Additionally, the agency took a jab at Mohammed, referencing his alleged legal troubles in the United States, where he has been sanctioned for gold smuggling, tax evasion, and money laundering. Some observers suspect the false claim was an attempt to undermine Muhammad's credibility, especially after his recent criticism of the slow distribution of government cash grants.
Listen to me carefully. 464,565 persons voted in 2020 elections within 12 hours. Why does the distribution of the cash grant move at a turtle's pace? It feels like a never-ending struggle.
As misinformation continues to spread online, this event underscores the importance of verifying news from credible sources before taking action. Reporting for Headline News Update, Malcolm Carter.
Thanks, Malcolm. This incident has once again raised concerns about the spread of misinformation and the role of certain social media platforms in fueling public confusion. And now, the Ghana Press Association is weighing in. In a statement today, the Ghana Press Association cautioned against social media platforms posing as independent news organizations, stressing the importance of verification in journalism. The association specifically criticized the Ghana Daily News, stating that it repeatedly fails to meet professional standards and has a history of publishing unreliable and misleading content. As a result, the association does not recognize Ghana Daily as a legitimate news organization. Moving on, Ghana has successfully extradited fugitive Harry Narayan Rajkumar to Canada, marking the first ever extradition between the two nations and a milestone in international crime-fighting efforts. Rajkumar, wanted for attempted murder and aggravated assault in Canada, was arrested by the Ghana Police Force following an Interpol red notice. After evading capture since 2019, he was apprehended, imprisoned, and later weighed in his right to extradition hearing. His extradition, approved by Acting Chief Magistrate Faith Auguste, was facilitated by a legal team led by Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions, Lisa Cave. This development underscores Ghana's commitment to international law enforcement cooperation and sets a precedent for future collaborations in combating transnational crime. Stick around when we return. Dr. Jagvio accuses Hughes of hypocrisy over land deals, and authorities investigate cooking gas cylinder incidents, plans safety measures.
It's Digicel's 18th anniversary and we're going big with our blowout sale. Get up to 40% off Samsung smartphones. Yes, you heard that right. 40% off Samsung smartphones. Grab the Samsung A05 for just $17,000, the A15 for only $27,000, and the A25 at a jaw-dropping $35,000. But wait, there's more. With every purchase, enjoy a 30-day free data plan to stay connected. Hurry to a Digicel store near you. Offer good while stocks last. Digicel, the network for everyone, everywhere.
Sneak in with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. A political firestorm is brewing over land allocations as Vice President and General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Dr. Barry Jaglio, has accused attorney and AFC leader Nigel Hughes of hypocrisy. For more on this developing story, we now go to Malcolm Carter with the latest.
Vice President and General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Dr. Barry Jaglio, has accused attorney and politician Nigel Hughes of hypocrisy over land allocations, revealing documents that he claims were never previously disclosed to the media. During one of his weekly press briefings at Freedom House on Thursday, Dr. Jaglio alleged that Hughes facilitated the acquisition of 75 acres of prime land at the Ogle for a Trinidadian company shortly after the 2020 elections and Caribbean Court of Justice rulings.
I'm going to share this with you. Now, this is True Lands and Survey. Now, I'm not going to share this long list of PNC individuals who got land, many after the elections and in the period after the government had fallen. It's a long list of who's who in the PNC. Just imagine 2 days ago he said we must pause. A legitimate government, not a government in caretaker mode, must pause on giving out lands. And he secured for himself 75 acres of land after the CCJ had ruled.
Hughes, he stated, served as both director and company secretary for the firm, which had committed to building a luxury hotel. However, no development has taken place, and Dr. Jaglio suggested legal irregularities surrounding the transaction.
Nigel Hughes was not just the lawyer for the company. The company that signed the agreement, he was an officer of the company. He became a director on that company, and he then became company secretary to the company that secured the land at $10 million per acre.
Following the 2018 no-confidence motion and 2020 elections, Hughes, who is now leader of the Alliance for Change, allegedly benefited from the politically sensitive land transactions. The vice president stated that this case highlights a pattern of duplicity. Hughes responded by welcoming a full investigation into his land dealings. He detailed his 2016 purchase of 50 acres at Great Creek, stating that despite following the required process, the Guyana Lands and Service Commission had refused to issue a final lease, blocking development. With conflicting claims from both sides, the public is left questioning the truth behind these land transactions. And while accusations of acres upon acres of land being acquired through questionable process by politicians and government officials, many citizens continue to line up in front of the Ministry of Housing daily, braving the weather in attempt to acquire a plot of land for the basic necessity of putting a roof over their family's head, some of whom have been waiting for over 10 years. Reporting for Headline News Update, Malcolm Carter.
Thanks, Malcolm. 6 former residents of Mocha East Bagdamarara who were evicted from government lands in Caneview have lost their High Court case seeking ownership of the lands and financial compensation. Chief Justice Roxanne George Wilshire ruled that the applicants became trespassers after refusing relocation offers in 2022. The Chief Justice stated that they had no legal claims to the land and that the authorities were entitled to remove them. The court further ruled that the residents must pay damages to the Attorney General's chambers and the Central Housing and Planning Authority by July 30th, 2025. It also found that their claims of constitutional breaches were unfounded, noted that they should have pursued a private lawsuit for property damages instead. Attorney Vivian Williams represented the residents, while the state was defended by Attorney General Anil Nandlal and his legal team. In other news, an interagency team, including the Environmental Protection Agency, Ghana Energy Agency, and Ghana Fire Service, is investigating recent incidents involving cooking gas cylinders. The team has met 3 times to review preliminary findings and has agreed to conduct further investigations at both retailer and consumer levels. Key areas of focus include transportation, storage, and usage of the cylinders. Early in January, the Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission launched an investigation into a series of gas cylinder explosions linked to a particular gas company following reports of critical injuries and extensive property damage. One such incident occurred on January 4th of 2025 in Fowlis, East Coast Demerara, which severely injured a couple who subsequently died. Victims in multiple incidents have cited gas leaks as the likely cause, but the company in question has denied any fault. The Ghana National Bureau of Standards and the Competition and Consumer Affairs Commission will lead the next phase of inquiries with support from other agencies. Authorities have also planned to launch public awareness campaigns to educate consumers on the safe handling, storage, and use of cooking gas cylinders. Don't go away after the break. U.S. federal workers face deadline to resign or risk layoffs, and cholera in Angola. Cases spread to 21 provinces across the country.
Digicel is celebrating 18 amazing years, and we're giving you the ultimate shopping spree. That's right, top up with $1,000 or more, and you could be one of 4 lucky winners, each walking away with up to $1 million in groceries. Imagine filling your carts with everything you need and more, absolutely free. Top up now and get ready to dash for carts full of groceries. Digicel, the network for everyone, everywhere.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Current smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. And now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I'm Malcolm Carter and welcome to our regional and international news segment, which keeps you informed and up to date with the trending news stories worldwide. In the Caribbean, UNICEF warns a shocking 1,000% rise in sexual violence against children in Haiti due to a rampant gang rule. With 85% of Port-au-Prince under gang control, over 1 million children face constant threats. Kidnappings, forced gang recruitment, and collapsing public services worsen the crisis. UNICEF struggles with funding shortfalls, fearing further neglect as global aid declines. Haiti's transitional government remains stalled, failing to restore stability or hold elections. Meanwhile, in South America, a small plane crashed onto a busy road in Sao Paulo, Brazil on Friday, killing 2 passengers and injuring 6 others, including a motorcyclist and a bus passenger. The aircraft en route to Porto Alegre lost contact shortly after taking off and crashed near Campo de Marte Airport. Emergency crews rushed to the scene as smoke and flames engulfed the wreckage. Mayor Ricardo Nunes pledged full support for the victims. We turn our attention now to the U.S., where millions of U.S. federal workers are facing a critical deadline. By the end of Thursday, 2.2 million employees must choose between resigning with 8 months of pay or staying and risking layoffs. The move, part of President Donald Trump's efforts to cut government spending, has sparked debate. Al Jazeera's Rosalind Jordan reports.
Just after taking office, U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order eliminating remote work, as well as what he called thousands of unnecessary federal workers.
We're getting rid of all of the cancer. I call it cancer, the cancer caused by the Biden administration.
Trump wants to eliminate jobs from every part of the government, from park rangers and the CIA to transportation and business planners to scientists and social services workers, to close agencies focused on education, healthcare, and workplace safety, and to turn many nonpartisan positions into jobs for his supporters. But what the U.S.'s 2.2 million civil servants did not expect was a so-called buyout plan from the Office of Personnel Management. Under fork in the road, you can stay home and get paid for 8 months, but you must quit your federal job at the end. Employees and their unions are furious.
We don't think it's on any kind of sound legal footing in particular.
This was a tactic to scare federal employees and to try to force them to make decisions that are not only bad for them, but bad for the American people.
Administration officials say more than 20,000 civil servants have already agreed to quit. But public policy experts say that's not enough to save the government more than $100 billion a year in salaries and benefits. They also say a 1994 law caps buyouts at $25,000, less than half of what would be owed to the average worker taking the Trump deal. And politicians, especially those representing thousands of federal workers, say the president has a reputation for not following through on his word.
Don't be fooled. He's tricked hundreds of people with that offer. If you accept that offer and resign, he'll stiff you just like he stiffed the contractors.
Workers' groups have already gone to court to try to stop Trump's efforts to remake the civil service. And they're warning ordinary Americans will suffer if the president succeeds in his quest. Rosalind Jordan, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Finally, Angola is struggling to contain a cholera outbreak that's killed 65 people in a month. The first cases were detected in the capital in early January. Since then, it spread to 6 of the country's 21 provinces. Al Jazeera's Haru Mutasa reports.
An ambulance in Angola's capital responds to another cholera emergency. This latest outbreak began in early January. The most infections and deaths have been recorded in Luanda province. The government recently targeted around 1 million adults and children in a nationwide vaccination campaign.
Vaccinations are important. They reduce transmissions. We have also increased clean water distribution points.
Each person received a dose of the oral vaccine.
I feel safer after getting the vaccine. I live in a high-risk zone.
Despite being Africa's second largest producer of crude oil, many people here live in overcrowded slums with unsafe drinking water, poor sanitation, and inadequate hygiene.
This will definitely bring cholera. Look at this place. The authorities promised to fix things years ago, but they have done nothing.
Cholera is a disease that can be prevented and controlled, but health workers say if conditions don't improve in many of the poorest areas, there will be more outbreaks. Haru Mutasa, Al Jazeera.
That wraps up our regional and international news segment for tonight. Thank you for joining us as we bring you the latest updates from around the globe. I'm Malcolm Carter. Good night. See you next time. Back to you, Bibi.
Thanks, Malcolm. Up next is the 3D weather forecast. And that's Safe to Be 2 Headline News for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. We will be off for the weekend, but you can tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other and do have a wonderful weekend.